Okay, our next speaker is Gints Dakša from Jūrmalas water, and I know and I believe that it will be also very impressive presentation, as always. Yes, Gints?
I've only presented like once, so there's not a whole lot to compare. First of all, I feel like a pop star wearing this microphone. Never worn that kind of thing. Second thing, thanks to Dace and team at Envirotech for inviting me to speak at the conference. It's a great honor to share what we've done at Jūrmalas ūdens with GIS. And as you can see, the title is super complex. I didn't come up with it. It was ChatGPT, because I don't have like the intellectual power to come up with such a compelling title. Leveraging data. Sounds super important, but don't let the title misguide you, because the presentation won't be super technical. It's more of a, and this is your opportunity to leave, and if you're looking for something technical. But if not, you're more than welcome to stay. My presentation is more about telling a story of how our company, Jūrmalas ūdens, has utilized data, utilized GIS to transform the way we work, the way we collaborate with each other, the way we keep the water running in the taps throughout the whole of Jūrmala. And I think a great place to start is by sharing two, from my perspective, important statistical facts. First one being that according to a survey conducted by our Public Utilities Commission, also known as the regulator, 66% of water utility companies in Latvia use GIS. Sounds great, right? But of course it should be 100%, but there's still more room to grow. But if we look deeper into the data that the utilities submitted, 7 out of 10 utilities use GIS for a single purpose, to map their assets. Basically, their GIS is just a bunch of points, lines, a couple of polygons maybe, some other shapes, I guess. But, and this kind of begs the question, was the investment in GIS worth it? Because it's just a map without any added value. And I think this very well sets the stage to what we tried to do at Jūrmalas ūdens, because we kind of took this notion and wanted to challenge ourselves and see whether we can be the company that takes like water utility GIS beyond basic mapping of assets, maybe add some additional value to our data, and as a result create value for ourselves as a company, as an organization, and create possibly some value for our customers. But before I proceed with the rest of the story, I hope it was like setting up a great cliffhanger, and now it's a commercial break. A little bit about myself. So my name is Gints Dakša. I'm the head of GIS department at Jūrmalas ūdens, but again, don't let the title fool you. My primary background is in water and wastewater systems engineering, and at Jūrmalas ūdens we are relatively new to GIS, and largely thanks to COVID pandemic of all things, we kind of kick-started our digital transition. About Jūrmalas ūdens, again, super fancy slide. The main point I want to tell you is we're the second largest water utility company in Latvia, right behind Riga Water. It doesn't matter that we're like the 10% of their size, but still the statistic is there, we're the second largest. But what we do have and what they don't have is we have the first solar, like floating solar panel park in the Baltics. So take that, Riga Water Company. Yeah. And we serve close to 60,000 customers as well on a daily basis. To add some more context to our daily operating struggles. I don't know if any of you have read the book called Prisoners of Geography by Tim Marshall, but I think it does a great job of explaining how geography limits or basically sets like boundaries to how we operate as people, as cities, as countries. And I firmly believe that Jūrmalas should have been included in the book because, as you can see, we have we are very stretched far apart. We're a quite long city. We are constrained by Gulf of Riga and the Lielapa River on both sides, so there's not much room to go anywhere else. And one more interesting thing is that we have very sparsely distributed population. Basically, all like 50% of our citizens are concentrated in one area, relatively small one, and the rest are scattered across the whole city. And it quite, from my opinion, it really sets or creates interesting challenges in terms of managing our water and wastewater networks. Because even though there are not a lot of people, there still are pipelines and we have to take care of them. One more thing that I want to point out is that even though we are a touristic-centered city, from year to year we experience great shifts in water demand due to tourism, so we have to take that into account when we operate our systems. But even though we are very far away, this is COVID, by the way, that tourism stopped and we didn't experience the summer peak. Then we had a greater peak right after because everybody was going to the spas, home barbecues, and so on and so forth. But the second great, I guess, hit we've experienced has been the war between Russia and Ukraine. And it's unfortunate that even though we are far away from the horrors of war and the trenches of war, we still experience how these global events impact us on a relatively local scale. But if we look internally, then I think you guys are familiar with the concept of demographic trees. Basically, it just shows the distribution of people in different age groups, and it should be like shown in the slide that there's plenty of young people, like in this case, young workforce to replace slowly aging workforce. But if we talk about Jūrmalas ūdens and the water sector in Latvia in general, it's flipped upside down, like a Christmas tree that's stuck in the ground. That we have a lot of experienced engineers and senior specialists who they are one bad argument away from leaving us. And this really sets the stage for what myself and my colleagues are trying to do on a daily basis, because we've realized that it's super important for us to supply the right data in terms of that it's correct, it's timely, and so on. We supply to the right people, the people working on the field, in the office, so they can make the right decisions. And most importantly, they get the right data, the right people, and on the right time, so that they can make timely decisions about investments, procurements, and different operational activities. And one interesting fact is that data is actually really expensive. During preparation of this presentation, I came across like a white paper by the Institute of Asset Management, and according to them, as much as 25% of utilities industry operational costs are indirectly or directly related to data management, data gathering, acquisition, and so on and so forth. So it just shows that it's super important for utilities not only to think about their assets, but about the data relating to their assets. And at least in our company, it definitely required to change the mindset and the way we look at things. And for the past, I guess, 3 to 4 years, we've been going around to each of our departments and explaining that their data is super important and it can be made spatial by I guess, tidying it up and increasing its quality. And yeah, so what we've been trying to do is our GIS. I was talking with different colleagues throughout the conference, and I was trying to explain to them that our GIS is everything but pipes and manholes. We're trying to put as much as every other type of data. That's why I included this picture. Because the data that we use to make the decisions, it doesn't originate in the GIS department. We're the ones visualizing it. But the data, it originates in every other, kā ir kabinets latviski? Room. Kaut kā stulbi izklausās. Labi, moving on. So basically, we've been really working hard at GISifying, that's a verb now, our workflows so that we can collaborate and put together in one like digital room, I guess, our field crews, our, for example, laboratory staff, our other engineers and so on. But what we've been making an emphasis on in the last year was engaging with our customers and other stakeholders, other organizations that we collaborate with on a daily basis. And this is where I go to the, like, I guess, two examples of how we've been leveraging data. So the first thing we've implemented is we completely moved our hydrant inspection workflow to GIS, just to see, first of all, whether the hydrant coverage is up to like legislation, what it asks for, just to see if it covers the whole city. Of course, we then supply this data to our field crews so that they can perform on-site inspections of hydrants. They don't have to fill out these paper forms, but they do it digitally. And quite interestingly enough, they were super eager about this because we expected that they would love to put their checks and marks on a paper, much rather, but they were super eager about having the ability to use their phone, log in, and just pop, and go on with the rest of their day. Of course, then we use this data to, in the office to visualize and to provide information regarding the performed asset inspections, both in the office and on the field, so that they don't perform the same inspection in the same place by mistake. And what we now have started to do is that we are sharing this data live with our local firefighting department so that they see what we are doing and they don't have these weird questions about why we're not inspecting hydrants, but they see in which places of the city we're working, and we don't have these questions anymore. And the second example, which we are extremely proud of in Jūrmalas ūdens, is how we used GIS to improve our drinking water quality monitoring workflow. Basically, what we did is we engaged our customers. We asked for their opinion, subjective opinion, of course, how they rate the quality of water flowing from their taps, whether it's up to their subjective standards. And we processed this data and we saw a couple of interesting things. First of all, this is the red dots. They are the old monitoring points where we would regularly take samples just to see if the water is okay. And these like pinkish clouds are the areas where we receive hotspots with complaints in regards to water quality. And if you can see and make the conclusion that we were looking for a couple of years in the wrong places. And of course, it looks good on like a statistical report that everything is up to standard, but it's kind of lying to ourselves. So thanks to GIS and bringing this data together, we transformed our monitoring network, and now we have a much better understanding of how water quality changes in our system, and who is to blame, whether it is the utility company due to incorrect operations, or maybe sometimes it's the fault of the customer because they are not taking care of their pipes in their home. Moving on. Oh, and of course, we greatly, I don't know if you see, this is the before, and this is after the implementation, that we had like only 3 hotspots in the whole city were left, and in all those cases, the fault in the like distribution network, the quality was okay, but it was more related to like poorly maintained house networks. And this leads us to the takeaways. First one being that I think we at Jūrmalas ūdens, we achieved the goal, and we made GIS transcend traditional mapping, and it's slowly becoming the centerpiece of our asset information management workflows, because we're trying to add all of the data into the GIS, but we're not adding the pipes and the manholes. Just kidding. The second takeaway is that spatial data is everywhere, and you have to tell your colleagues that day in and day out, and that their data can be put on a map. Maybe not yet, because it has to be cleaned up and so on. And the third one is that we have these great tools like ArcGIS, we have tablets, phones, and so on and so forth. But the change, it starts from within the organization. We have to be honest with ourselves and realize that no tool will help us if we don't want to change the way our work. We have this very popular catchphrase in our company is that a monkey can drive a nail with its fist and with a hammer as well. So why use a hammer if you have your fist? Because it's always on you. So you have to change your mindset about things, and then change will happen. And what's next is, of course, we want to work on breaking down more data silos, bridging the gap between different data sets, and see what we can find by cross-comparing various data. Of course, we want to reinforce the integrity of our data by implementing different like quality assurance workflows, and our goal is to move to like integrated asset management, so that we look at we operate both water and wastewater networks, and we want to make like investment decisions based on the status of both pipelines. And of course, our like medium-term goal is to transition to utility network, because we see great opportunities in how this basically data model can support our daily operations. And I guess that's it. Any questions?
Thank you. So,
yeah, we have one comment. Gint, you are the best. So you have fans here.
That was my mom, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course. And one question: do you gather indoor information for maintenance?
Sorry?
Do you also gather indoor information?
No, we're working outdoors.
only outdoors.
We have not moved to that yet.
Okay.
Yeah. We don't have the manpower to move indoors yet.
Okay.
In 5 years, maybe.
Okay, small task for you. Can you tell main GIS values, but use 3 words for that? Not more. Uh-oh.
3 words to describe the value of GIS?
Yes. Make it long.
Is it possible?
I think it goes beyond that.
Okay, use
Yeah.
5.
You caught me there. Super useful system for us.
For us, it's 5.
Yeah.
Very good. Very good. I have one question regarding your system and who is using. I saw that various laboratories are using the
Yes.
GIS. So what you're doing there?
Basically, what we did previously, they like the whole, like the results of the lab samples, they were kept in Excel sheets,
Okay.
but we moved them all to GIS just to see how the quality of water changes over time.
Okay, so you are collecting this data now in the GIS
Yes,
through the
yes.
through the web application.
Yes, we've created a survey, integrated it into a dashboard, and that's how they work now.
Okay,
Very
so
good.
you can.
We had more question, I guess. It's not a question or comment? It's a comment. It's okay. We need comment.
I just wanted to say that take Gints, for example, as from water engineering to GIS expert. I'm not
That's
afraid to
too
say that.
generous of an
No.
explanation.
I know what I'm telling. Just don't be afraid and start from anywhere you have in your knowledge and just do it and it will just flow like water.
Just do it.
Yeah.
Thank you
Thank you.
very much. And
A gift,
Sorry,
of course,
a
of course,
gift.
a gift. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
thank you.